for young people to be able to contract loans, procure loans, to be able to start their businesses, because people have ideas, right? To also reduce the policy rate from the percentage that it is now to about, I think it's about around 3.7%. The lending rate should be reduced to a single digit and move from the 23%, so that young people can borrow monies and start their businesses, as opposed to taking the easy way out. So, because for me, the removal of the betting tax is taking the easy way out and following the populism characterizing, that the introduction of the betting tax. So let's look at these things holistically, dispassionately, and address the budget issues here.
With my analysis, I came to the conclusion that the budget is a conservative or prudent budget for a cash-strapped economy. So I would say that the finance minister, he had his wish list, but he was constrained by the fact that there was no way out. You don't have access to the external markets. You are only reliant on the treasury bills. So there's not much you can do. And then when you come and you have inherited an economy that is just coming out of the woods. So even though the finance minister said it's still in crisis, but if you look at the debt, then you can justify that the debt level that is still in crisis, and the fact that because of the debt we cannot access external facility. So the finance minister has done what he could do in presenting this budget, and as Prof said, they've managed to deliver a lot of goods to appease the people or satisfy the wishes of the people. When it comes to the betting tax, as you use the right word, populism, because if you have a tax that is giving you 180 million, what is the big deal? Compared to, for example, e-levy of 1.9 billion. Why do you make so much noise about betting tax? And if you think that the betting tax is just going to be, or the betting is going to provide income to your unemployed youth, then you are mistaken. Because if you, from my childhood, I have known that betting or gambling is a win-lose game. You cannot win all the time. So statistically, somebody who gambles may not have an improvement in his income or wealth, because most of the people who patronize casinos will tell you they will gamble today, they may win, but the next day whatever they won will be dissipated. So the the betting tax, it doesn't deserve the noise that we've made on it. So we should, because of the fact that this country is consumed by politics, so perhaps the party has realized that most of the followers or the people would be more happy if the betting tax was abolished. But it's not the elephant in the room or whatever the finance minister is. It doesn't deserve the attention that we're giving it. So I would have also wished, we haven't talked about the e-levy, but I would have also...
You can talk about...
Yes, I would have also wished that he approached the e-levy the same way he approached the VAT. You see, you've just come in, the e-levy is giving you 1.9 million. Fortunately, last year, we managed to reduce the rate. and made it a bit appealing to the people. We know that nobody likes paying taxes, but at the moment the rate is not like when it was first introduced. And for a government that is coming into power, the 1.9 billion, it's more than what you are going to give to the free SHS. Oh, sorry, the agricultural. Sorry, the EATA.
Yeah.
When I saw the amount that is going to be spent on it, I thought that the e-levy could have helped that, because a lot depends on that EATA. For example, we know that our inflation is driven by food inflation.
Absolutely.
And inadequate production of food. So the EATA is a good policy. But do we have the inputs, adequate inputs, to ensure that it provides the benefit that we desire? So, betting tax, e-levy, I think is all populism. We could have approached the e-levy maybe even, if not 1%, 0.5%. People may have appreciated that reduction, but abolishing the e-levy altogether is not something I would have gone for as a finance minister. And then if you look at the growth, as you said, 4%, because of the fact that the government has to think about how to service the debt. And there's no way of assessing finance. The government more or less has to engage in care and maintenance of what exists. And so that's why we are not seeing that significant growth. But what I mean by care and maintenance, you can see that the finance minister is talking about fiscal discipline. If that we had that in 2023 when the finance minister was talking about fiscal discipline, he was even talking about changing all the number plates of the Land Cruisers or the V8. So I've been looking out for that since, and there was nothing. So when our governments talk about fiscal discipline, it's dependent on so many things, and that if this government is able to implement that and secure that fiscal discipline, will go a long way to improving our situation, because the inflation is always based on our deficits. Because if you have a budget deficit of 7.9%, you need to go and look for the money to finance the deficit. And by financing that money, your interest rates will go high, because then you crowd out the private sector. So they would have to borrow at an excessive rate. And so the interest rate will also drive the inflation. And because with that, even your producers cannot produce much, because how do they borrow to produce? Then you go and import your food and other things, and that would impact on your exchange rate. So if the government is targeting the government expenditure, and also I think they should give credit to the past government for the fact that they've raised the revenue to GDP from about 11% to 17%.
But I just want to ask you a question before you come in. Because you see, you're talking so eloquently about fiscal regime.
Yes.
You know, and some of the components really So you have to look at the debt restructuring.
Yes.
You see, expenditure management and control.
Yes.
Your tax regime.
Yes.
Now, how can we ensure that there's some fiscal responsibility, that government would have to drive?
Yes.
Because you see, and again, if you look at the whole macroeconomy, okay, you are looking at the real sector, you're looking at the service sector, you're looking at all these sectors, and they all play such great roles in ensuring whether you will be fiscally responsible or not. In some of the sectors, government does not have direct control. Of course, government have an overarching control.
Yes.
But in terms of specific direct control, government may not necessarily have. If I talk about government, I'm talking about the executive.
Yes.
And you notice that it is in these sectors that a lot of these indisciplinary actions occasion.
Okay.
How do we ensure that that is dealt with? So, for instance, Senior is talking about a task force that is being outdoored this morning for the purposes of ensuring the implementation of the Bahama Care policy, which is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
What goes into it, the nitty-gritties of the implementation, is usually what we overlook.
Yeah.
But within the belly of that implementation is also the issue about the indiscipline that we are talking about.
Yes.
So, for instance, if there's budget allocation for, you said how much? The Bahama Care.
No, I was
9.5 for national health insurance.
So let's assume that we have the Bahama Care policy. Just even as we have $600,000. I'm just for the purpose of explanation. The disbursement will be made by the finance ministry, but the onward disbursement for the execution will be made by the specific ministry in charge of it. How do you ensure that it is prudently disbursed, so that we will not be able to now, so that we will spend, first of all, beyond the threshold of the expenditure, and also to be able to manage the after effect of it? That's
the key question.
Yeah.
So
and
let me add my question so he answer.
I'll answer that as well.
So that's the first one.
Okay.
My
So
question
that's
is to him and to all of them.
Okay.
I want to.
I'll come to you shortly. I just want to.
That's economic education. The revenue to GDP that we talk about, the ratio that the previous government improved, blah blah blah. Does non-servicing of a nation's debts have any role
Yeah, it does.
to play?
It has an effect on it.
That's my first point. And if it is, then really, are we talking of an actual or some artificial improvement?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Then let him answer the question.
The last one.
Okay. You've not spoken yet, but they ask you a question. Okay, so write it down.
And I just want to know.
Okay, let me
I have noticed that when we talk so much about the growth rate of the economy, and then our economy is projected to grow. Currently, they say around 5 point something.
Yeah.
Our finance minister has given a lower as his end of year that
projection.
Minimum he should be at that level.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you look at the developed economies, they are growing even at less, like 3 point something, 1 point something, yet they are fine. How is it that the growth rate doesn't translate into me feeling more money in my pocket? That's
a brilliant question you've asked on my behalf. Thank you. So, Doc, respond to this one. Let me come to you.
Okay, so I think you've asked a very important question on the implementation of policies. Okay, so I've always been driving home the fact that the executive may have a bright policy, but then you need the people, where we call them street level bureaucrats. They are the people who are going to implement the policies. They are in contact with the people on the ground. And if these people, their interests are not aligned with the executive, the policy will not be implemented. So you have these challenges. The first one is corruption and nepotism. The second one is inadequate input or resources, like now we don't have money. The fourth one is a political factor. We are talking about the fact that the party followers, and even Prof alluded to something like that, that you go to the ministries and you have a lot of your supporters. They want the government to employ, or the president to appoint them to managerial roles. The government doesn't have that, the president doesn't have that authority. The president can only appoint the chairman and the governing bodies of state institutions or corporations, but the party followers would like the president to descend, appoint CEOs and managers, which is not constitutional. So these political factors also affect the implementation, because you go and put somebody, I'm not saying that is what it is, you go and put somebody at cocoa board. The person does not have the agricultural expertise, financial expertise, and then you come and complain that cocoa board is in red. When you could have allowed the governing body that you've appointed to select the best person based on merit to run cocoa board, but you are appointing the governing body.
So the issue of
and
meritocracy comes in.
Yes.
And then the principle of clientelism.
Yes.
Also comes in.
Yes. Your favorite word. So clientelism, it's related to the political party regulation. If you go and look at our constitution, you will see that Article 55 talks about the regulation of the political party. But the person who should be responsible of that regulation is not clearly spelled in there, in the constitution. So you talk to the electoral commissioner, and they say go and talk to the parliament. The parliament should determine. So we had a workshop or a seminar conducted by Graphic and Electoral Commission just before the elections. Just 21 days before the elections, the Deputy Electoral Commissioner outlined all the steps that they had taken to ensure that there's a peaceful election. Then I asked the commissioner, what about Article 55? You were supposed to review their financial statements, their expenditure, everything before the elections. Have you done it? No. You are supposed to review the financial statements of the political parties. Annually, they have to submit that to you. Have you done them? No. And he even went on to say that even the financial statements, when they submit, they cannot even support the financing of the billboards. So what are we doing as a people? And that's why you were complaining about democracy. So if your political party organization or regulation is not top-notch, the means of coming to power may be like Ebo was saying.
Yeah.
It's not that the fact that it's most democratic, because whoever has access to money will come to power.
Absolutely.
And whoever has access to gun can come to power. So we have a system of regulating the strong people and the wealthy people. I mean, in the cultural studies, we call that power distance. You see, if you are powerful or wealthy, you shouldn't lord yourself over those who are less powerful. So this is why the political parties would have to be adequately regulated.
So then he has a question. The second, the question about the fact that government's failure in servicing debt has any role, if you like, or has an effect rather, on the performance or otherwise of an economy.
You mentioned
the growth rate.
Okay.
No,
GDP, revenue to GDP. Okay. So, you want to answer that?
Okay, then in your analysis you can answer that, right?
Yeah.
All right. But let me read this message and then I'll come to you.
I think he should.
Good morning, Kwame. As a graduate teacher in K2 district, I advise the government to listen to the students and retain the allowances for the teacher trainees, because the voice of the people is the voice of God. Some of us depended on it to school at the college and the university with little support from parents. The budget is good, but our pockets are empty. So they should support us to travel abroad and live dignifying life.
Allocated to training allowance.
Yeah. All right. Ken, I've read your message. You are saying that so far so good, but as a graduate teacher, I advise government to, okay, I think I've some of us used to do okay. Now you continue to say, secondly, the policy on labor export is another great idea. To help people travel abroad to earn good income and pay remittances. India is the biggest earner of $120 billion from remittances, so Ghana can learn from the Indian, I think it's in the Great Transformational Plan, where they talked about exports of talent, exportation of talent. You know, in the Great Transformational Plan, I think it's aptly captured in it.
It's also captured very well in our manifesto.
In your manifesto.
Yeah.
I think the Great Transformational Plan came before yours. So
really?
Yeah, I think it starts with reason that
I don't
pick the thing or two from.
When you started to
yesterday, I was listening to Ambassador
Sampiali.
And he said he requested for a copy, and they juxtaposed it with, and of course certainly they glean from it.
A nation to build.
Yeah, they glean from it. So it is important. But on the issue of the question of the growth, you see, you asked a very important question, whether the growth rates can be used to is the right basis, you know, for the measurement of the well-being of an economy. Interestingly, GDP is the most important indicator that is used to measure the health of an economy. But unfortunately, there are a lot of things GDP that doesn't take into consideration when they are measuring it. For example, last year, our GDP was driven by the mining sector. Yeah. But GDP doesn't deal with galamsey and how it is destroying the environment, which is the cost to the nation. Do you get the point? Yeah. So that is why sometimes people think that using the GDP as a measurement of a is not all that is supposed to be used. But you see, the importance of your question has to do with if you grow. You say we had a 5.7 growth last year. The question is, what percentage of your growth was driven by foreigners? Because if foreigners played a very important role, it means whatever you had, chunk of it is taken away.
So you are looking at, so we should deal with gross national product as opposed to GDP.
Yeah, even if you deal with GDP.
Because the gross domestic product is an encapsulation of every single business produced in Ghana. Yeah. Some of which may not necessarily be of, you know, benefit in terms of tax, because some of them even have tax exemptions and things like that. So we are looking at the overall production, gross national income.
But even with the gross national income, you can't take, for example, if somebody, a Ghanaian has a company in Nigeria, the Ghanaians' performance in Nigeria is being captured within Nigeria as GDP. Yeah. But then we will take it, we will consider it as part of the GNP. But the question is that do you really get it from, do you benefit from it?
So the presumption is that there is repatriation of proceeds.
So
the likelihood, it happens. The likelihood of the gains made to be repatriated into this country is high. Yeah, because the government of Nigeria cannot expropriate. Yeah, you see the revenue.
But the reason why the GDP is used of the GNP is that the GDP considers what takes place within the economy.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So I think that is more important.
Yeah, that is more important. Yeah,
because you see, we always try to talk about the fact that foreigners control the economy. The foreigners shouldn't control the economy, but we shouldn't also discourage the participation of foreigners, because from where I grew up, I was told they are all going to teach you grow.
Okay. Let me let Ebo finish the submission and then we can have a bite on.
And Prof, on the issue of whether you not paying your debt also has a role to play. You see, yesterday I was listening to them people, and they were making noise about the fact that they left a reserve of 4 months, and NDC has projected 3 months. And I was laughing because we are not servicing your debt.
Exactly.
If you are not servicing your debt,
you can leave money.
You can have money to spend. So that one, that argument, I think that themselves they know that it's not a strong. It is never a strong argument.
that debt payment to us this year.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
No, most of them are in 2028.
No,
Yeah,
2027, 2028 is a lot.
Yeah.
That already we started paying bondholders.
Yeah.
Oh, that one you are obligated to show.
I'm saying that. So all of that.
But let's allow Mr. Blackman to.
Okay. When we finish, I'll try and.
It won't proceed.
Okay. So the point, but you see, when I was listening to, in fact, prior to the reading of the or presentation of the budget, I had my 5 expectations.
Okay.
Personally, I was looking forward to the budget addressing the issue of economy.
Okay.
I believe that where we are we are not in a good place. So I was expecting the budget to give us a good picture of a very strong, stable economy. I'll come to that, whether I saw it yesterday. Then also the budget should address the issue of corruption.
Yes.
Because corruption is a very serious issue in Ghana, and also accountable governance system. The budget should be able to address that. Then the budget should be able to address employment and economic opportunities for the youth.
Yeah.
That was also what I was expecting. Then quality public service and infrastructure.
Okay.
Was also my expectation. And the last one was sustainable management of natural resources and a clean environment.
Okay. Yeah.
That is my expectation. Now let's take it one by one, or maybe I will run through them quickly. In terms of corruption, I'm yet to see the complete budget. But what I heard yesterday, in terms of corruption, I didn't feel it. Like how we are positioning ourselves to fight corruption like never before, because it's been the bane of our development, if you agree. Because that is where the politicians they thrive. They thrive within the confines of corruption, and so they always give us lip service to solving corruption. But in actual fact, they do almost nothing in solving. So corruption, I didn't feel it much.
I don't want you to move away from corruption. Let me add to what you're saying. So because I share your view, I don't want to lose that opportunity. So the finance minister is dwelling on the Public Financial Management Act to fight corruption.
Yeah.
It's a good law. But as I said, because of self-interest, you cannot rely only on that. We need to pass the public officers conduct bill. If you don't control the conduct of your public officers, you cannot implement your policies, and corruption will
And Prof, you see, on the issue of the economy itself, I was a bit disappointed in terms of the money that was allocated to the agri sector.
Oh, really?
It's not even 1% of the total expenditure. It's not even 1% of the total expenditure.
Okay.
And it was. I mean, I saw it as a worrying situation.
No, are you talking about? Maybe you need
5 billion.
You need to see.
It's less than the.
You need to. I'll share. I will share with you the full document, but I'm sure that
allocations were made.
No.
And those allocations were specific.
This
1.5.
This 1.5 billion is for a specific thing in agri. Not all of agri, but
which specific thing?
which is agri for economic transformation.
Yes,
that's the flagship. That's the flagship bit of it. But that is not our total projected expenditure.
Million also allocated for other initiatives in
yes.
But if you put all together, you get about 0.58%.
There is more. You go to the full budget. These are the highlights.
Yeah.
So essentially what you're saying is that the real sector suffered.
Yeah, I mean,
in the budget.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the real sector, but agri is part of the real sector. But it's not only agri. Yeah, let's finish.
The whole thing is that let's be honest here. The problems of this country can only be solved through production.
Manufacturing.
I was thinking that despite the fact that we are in a very critical economic situation, this budget was going to focus on production, because that's the only way out.
Yeah.
Because even with a prediction or with a the minister's prediction.
Yeah.
In terms of our inflationary rate, that is going to make sure that we operate within, I say 11 point something.
Yes.
11 point.
Yeah, that's the
and inflation will be 11 point something percent. You see,
0.9.
but they can only solve that problem through production. You see, the mistake we make is that that's the mistake the previous government made, was that they tried as much as possible to solve the inflation problem through the demand side. The money is controlling money supply in the system to fight inflation. That is a problem. Inflation will have to be fought through the supply side. That is where production comes in. So I'm saying that if you invest heavily in agriculture, why? You solve the problem of unemployment. You solve the problem of your currency, because then you can export more. You can also get money through income tax and corporate tax. Do you get the point I'm making?
And your leap burden will reduce.
Yeah. So I was a bit disappointed that we couldn't even. I mean, of course, let me be also honest to say that I'm yet to see the full document.
That's what I was saying.
The full document, but at least.
You mean a 70-page document is not a full document?
No, it's not. The statement that.
But allocation to the various ministries, because in every economy, I have always said that. I mean, it's that the basic knowledge in economics. Every economy is made up of 3 units: the production unit, the distribution unit, and the consumption unit. So when you are allocating resources, the finance minister is like the master chess player.
Yes.
He allocates resources to these units. And what mistake MPP committed was that they didn't link the production unit with the distribution unit. That is why at a point in time the Greek minister was cutting food to his ministry to sell. Because the focus was on planting for food and jobs. Planting is just a step in production process. It should have been production for whatever you want, for employment, for food, for export, so that in economics we say production is not complete unless it gets to the final consumer. So if it is your focus is on production, you make sure to link the production sector with the distribution sector. That is where I believe that the big push should focus more on building roads in agricultural areas and industrial zones than in the cities.
Yes, agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
Lord, do you agree with me?
Yes.
Because
so that we can move.
Yes, because if you have a cheaper production cost, but high distribution costs, the consumer will buy at a higher price,
and the inflation will go up.
That's what the problem with our food.
So I expect energy minister, road minister, and transport minister, who are basically found within the distribution unit, to make sure that we have low costs and efficiency in that unit. So that much as we're also fighting to create an environment for the production unit where now taxes have gone down, some taxes have been removed, that is good. The projected inflation to go down, interest rate also to go down.
It's already gone down.
The interest rate is we should have single-digit inflation in Ghana.
We'll get there.
Ghana deserves single-digit inflation, single-digit interest rates.
We'll get there.
And we don't just need stable currency. There has to be reduction in the exchange rate. We should also be able to get single digits in our exchange rate. Do you get the point? That is the only way the Ghanaian businessman can survive. That's the only way that even the government policy of 24-hour economy can survive. So that
let me read a few messages. Isaac Duda, I hope I got it right. It says, Kerry, these days I am becoming somewhat confused with your constructive criticism on issues. So you and your panelists, including Dr. Bayo, are suggesting that the betting tax should not have been removed, abolished.
No.
Was it not a campaign promise
to the
good people of Ghana? So your wish is that President Mahama shouldn't have honored his campaign promise, so that the youth can lampoon and lambast him. Is that your wish? KOD, you are a politician yourself, and you also promised the people during your campaign. So I'm shocked with your thinking. The other day, you jumped to the defense of the National Service Secretariat woman because she's your friend. Please, we respect you a lot. So don't bring yourself down to the level of some people we know in this country. Isaac Duda in Zappa, Upper West Region. Seth Abochi says, oh Ghana, the rhetorics are too much. Even Jesus Christ could not do everything on earth. It's only 2 months now. Let's be at least a bit positive and optimistic. Yeah. If some of you over there assume power one day, you will also face the same problems. Yeah. This is Nada budget. Raw Peter to pay Paul. Ghanaians, anyway, special greetings to Hajia Safia Mohammed, incoming MPP National Women Organizer hopeful. Komensa in Pillar 2. Thank you, Komensa. This one says, Kaidebi Steve says, KOD, betting tax, did Baumia say he will abolish? Didn't Baumia say he will abolish betting tax? I mean, yes. If it was not implemented, MPP projected 3.1% growth, but went up to 5.7%. NDC is projecting 4.4%. So let's wait to the end of the year.
So that's a very good.
Okay. That's some good analysis there. Let me read more messages. Yeah. Good morning. I want to speak to lawyer Usudanso to get in touch with Reverend Noah. Okay. Reverend Noah, I'll get in touch with you. Good morning to you. Yesterday, the majority presented a perfect budget that covers virtually all the important sectors. However, the opposition leader, Fenya Markins, had nothing to criticize than to be shouting, it is a budget. My name is Abdullah from Upper West Region. This is a text message. Now let's do some WhatsApp messages. Ken, I've read your message. I don't know what you want me to do again. I've read all your messages, Ken. Please. So let me proceed and read other messages. Good morning to you, Champion KOD, and your panel. Please, with all due respect, kindly ask Doc if he has ever bet before and whether he's been sending money on daily basis through Momo for goods to be bought for him. Because if he has, I'm not sure he will be saying that what he's saying about e-levy and betting tax. Ameshi Dixon from who sent in this one. This one also says, lawyer, I think the chartered accountant panelist looks like Prime Minister Buzia.
That was what I was called.
This one also says, good morning to you and your panelists. Yeah. The former finance minister is a liar. He even doesn't know his duties as finance minister. Didn't he receive handing over notes before performing his duty as finance minister? Didn't he read through the handing over note before he started performing his duty? He should come again and apologize to the good people of Ghana. From Amos in Asinfosu. This one also says, the budget is a total scam to Ghanaians and is the same old dead goods. How can you describe an economic growth of 3.4% as robust economic in 2016, but trying to describe an economic growth of 7.2% as collapse of the economy? Okay, so let me try and address the minds of my viewers and all of us here to the fact that in as much as I kind of agree with the analogy and the comparative analysis placed on the dichotomy between the economic performance, right? It's also important to also take into consideration the price of goods and services at a time when the economy was growing at 2.4%. Because if you are talking about the performance of an economy, then the bread and butter issues also play a very important role. How the economy is performing has a direct correlation with how people are able to freely and are able to purchase goods and services. Cost of living generally. The cost of living in 2016, when the economy was performing at 2.4%, was far and it's still far better than the cost of living now when the economy is performing at 5.7%. So I think that people must also be guided and minded, but I don't know if my analysis is correct. Good morning to you, His Excellency. Hey, Charlie. I didn't chop the tin or so. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama never disappoints. I'm very grateful that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is really out, willing and ready and courageous to let Ghana assume its rightful position in Africa as a black star. We are ready to burden share with him and turn Ghana around. Ghanaians are praying for him to be strong and be able to execute. Sugulo Ibrahim from Nadoli Kalio constituency. I think my time is up. This thing, let me just, the viewers are they will chew me. Good morning to Your Excellency. Hey, Charlie, the Excellency idiot. The NBC man is simply saying, save the dying, rescue the perishing. I like that. Daniel from Swedro sent in this one. My uncle, Reverend Father Jojo Jepigabra from Elmina, says, good morning to KOD and your co-panelists. Hi to Brobaki. Our president, JDM's good neighborliness tour to Sahel states shows how internationally and politically matured he is, bringing back Ghana's high pedigree amongst nations. Thank you. There was a message that was sent from Mali, but unfortunately I can't find it. Somebody sent a message from Mali. This one also says, Esquire Kwame, my name is Emmanuel, watching you live from Techima. My greetings to your panel, especially Professor, my future health minister. Kwame, was Amin part of the regime for 2024 before being appointed as finance minister? All right, thank you very much. It's quite lengthy. Good morning to you, lawyer KOD. Congratulations on your appointment. Hey.
The Excellency, KOD.
No, I'm not appointed.
Listen, appointment is
I'm not appointed.
Oh, you know, you are taking a green letter.
Well, maybe I want to take a green letter. So they should bring it. All of us want to serve Ghana, no?
Of course.
I'm so relieved that the NPP didn't. I'm so relieved that the NPP didn't win the 2024 elections. Can you imagine how different Ghana would be if they had taken power again? It's scary to think about it. My time is up, but I think I can plead with the producers to grant us the luxury of 2 minutes to touch on this Unim Red matter. It's trending on social media. There's a drug called Red. Yeah. You know, there's a documentary that was conducted by the BBC.
Yes.
That one is a different one. That one was in India. The production company was in India. This one is another drug. It's red. It's red in color.
It has some numbers on it.
Yeah, it has some numbers on it. 225.
Yeah, because of
Well, first of all, what does the drug do to you?
So this particular one they are talking about is a very high dose tramadol.
I'm told you can sleep for like 4 days.
Yeah, it's a high dose tramadol, and it belongs to that opioid group. Generally, they work on the brain. Clinically, they are supposed to numb pain. So in low doses, they are used to manage very moderate to very severe pain that normal medication like paracetamol, diclofenac cannot handle. But they have a property that when we are using them, we are very careful, which is that they create euphoria. They give you what they call the high. So you get excited, your whole view of everything changes. And unfortunately, they are also addictive because you exhibit something we call tolerance, which means that to get the same high, you need a higher dose every time. So if you took 100 and you felt very good today, tomorrow you take 100, you won't get a feeling. You have to go up. So then that means that you become very dependent on it. Each time you need a higher amount to get the same feeling.
That's serious.
And unfortunately, its impact on the brain is terrible. So immediately it can knock someone off into like a trance. You are not bothered about anything happening around you. You can sleep forever. In the initial stages, you may feel it has given you some strength to be able to work because it numbs all your pain, but eventually at the higher doses, you lose control. That's what it does. But the danger is the fact that it's so addictive that when you take it,
You want to take it
getting it off becomes a challenge. Even in the best of medical centers, recovery from it completely is not more than 50%. So for every 100 people that are exposed to it, if you take them to rehabilitation for 6 months, for whatever duration, if you may get only like 30 people getting out. And relapse for those who have even successfully come out is very high. At the least chance you go back for it, because when you are going off, you feel pain, bodily pain. And others like mental issues that you will become dependent on it.
My problem, is how did we get to the point where young people have resorted to taking pills? And I simply cannot understand.
Honestly, I think we have to program this for us to talk about it more. I really would wish to talk about
What's going to happen is that I'll call you.
Yes.
We would have perhaps, because he's a medical doctor, we'll have a one-on-one conversation on it because we need to look at it and look at the effect of it.
Yeah, it's a
now I also want to encourage Ghana Health Service because they're in charge of educating.
Yeah.
That we need to come out with a documentary or an advert. You know, the way we did the advert against HIV and AIDS, take your girl child to school, drug abuse and all those things. We need to begin to bring sanity back because all the young people have seen. And they've been sleeping and sleepwalking and all of that. It's quite worrying.
Yes. So, okay, this, as you said, has got some social factors.
Yeah, very serious.
For example, if you have this harsh economy, the person is unemployed.
Pressures of life.
A person is unemployed. The person is staying home doing nothing, and you are not regulating their access to these drugs. Then you are giving the person the opportunity to go and take this, as Prof said, to reduce the pain of being unemployed, the pain of not finding money to buy food and everything. That's how they begin taking drugs. And so we need to tackle this issue both ways, not only medically, but by providing employment to the youth and also finding ways of engaging the youth and sensitizing them that the long effect of these drugs is not good for them.
It's scary, bro. It's scary. I mean, Prof has said it all. It's scary. The future of this country. If the future of this country depends on the youth, then this should be.
And the youth are depending on red.
Yeah. then our future is now being shifted from the youth to the red, which is scary. Honestly, I think it should be taken as a very serious issue. National emergency issue.
Let me just, in response to the message the person gave, give me just a second.
Please proceed.
The gambling tax, the betting tax.
Proceed.
I think I just want to state emphatically that I have not condemned the removal of the tax. I have supported government's removal of the tax, and I said that indeed betting is still addictive, and as a medical person I will do a disservice to this nation if I don't make that clear. So I support that we should take off the tax because the people are unemployed and all of that, but the long-term solution is we should get these youth gainful employment. Then we should tax those who own the betting companies much more.
They will transfer it to the consumers.
No, find a way. But by that time, if the people are well employed, many people will not go into tax. And that point, it should be a punitive tax. So people don't go into betting. That's all I just wanted to say. Yeah.
Who wanted to Kirodi? Did I hear one of your panelists saying that the big push should be pushed to roads linking agricultural areas? Yes. But what about fuel and dollar rates? The roads can be good, but if fuel and dollar rates are high, it is cost 90.
No, it's not.
All factors should be looked at, not just fuel.
That is why I said. Energy
maybe you need to explain it. Maybe you need to explain it well.
Yeah.
Because once there's high production, it has an automatic effect on the performance of your currency. But it reduces importation. One of the things is about reliance on importation.
But he made a very strong point. If you make the production and it's not transported well to us, and it's still expensive, we go for imported ones.
But it's just that our leaders are not thinking, because even with the understanding that the kind of economic structure that we have is built on the Gettysburg economy. We must also draw some lessons from it, that even the Gettysburg economies had roads and rails connecting to production.
If you want to talk about Gettysburg economy, then organize another. Because we've always got Gettysburg wrong. But that was the economy of his time.
It worked. That's what I'm saying.
It went then. But they don't even implement it.
No, that's what I'm saying, that even if we are saying that our economy is in a mess because of our over-reliance on the Gettysburg economy. When you go into a full-scale conversation about the performance and the other components of the Gettysburg economy, you will notice that even the Gettysburg economy designed policies which will link production areas to distribution centers. So we are even not learning it correctly.
So, but to the one who sent the message.
Yeah.
When I spoke about roads, I also mentioned the Minister of Energy,
yeah,
Minister of Transport,
and that's fuel and transportation.
Yeah, the distribution.
Okay, that the drug dose you are in betting houses are taking, and Ghanaians are happy betting tax has been removed. Ghanaian passes come out to boys are spoiling from Eduke University campus. Matao, this one.
Yes, that's well.
This one says, good morning to you, Mr. Host. This and many reasons why I personally dislike the MPP. They are full of lies and deception. How can the former finance minister lie to Ghanaians even in Ramadan? I'm highly disappointed. My name is Francis Kuno, sympathy from Kumasi. I'm told Ashanti region is in love with NDC power.
The country is in love.
What an insightful discussion by Professor Titus Bayo. His expertise in healthcare, education, and governance is truly inspiring. And I'm loving the way he's breaking down complex development issues into actionable solutions for our dear nation. Keep shining, Prof. Bayo Titus Bayo, MP, Lambusie constituency. My name is Leku Harris Samba. No, be saying you people will come and be praising him right now, and then the next 2 10 people will now start mafiaing him. KOD, you must understand that the finance minister didn't set 4% growth target. He said at least 4%. He set a minimum base. Okay, I respect that. Thank you for the correction. I concede. Your Excellency, I'm writing to express my enthusiasm for the in-depth discussion you're having on your show. Your like paper or program, I believe it has the potential to greatly benefit Ghana, and I'm impressed by your dedication to nation building. I kindly request that you make the relevant documents available to the National Democratic Congress for study. It would also be beneficial if the documents could be published online, allowing everyone to access and learn from them. As a concerned citizen and a secret admirer, I urge you to share this valuable information with the government in power for immediate implementation. Your efforts are truly appreciated, and I'm confident that together we can make a positive impact on Ghana. Please keep up the fantastic work. We are behind you. I'm super grateful for the message. I'm moving emotional. The truth is that, and I think it's one of the reasons why His Excellency Alan Shematin decided to work with me.
Yes.
When I was interviewing him on Alan Speaks, after the show, I introduced him to my policy. Now, bear in mind that I had already sent the policy to some NDC people, and they paid no attention to it. So when I discussed with Alan Shematin, and I explained the policy prescriptions and the components thereof, he immediately said, forward it to me. Let me include it in my, in my discussions. So if you notice, subsequently he was talking about Ghana Rural Agent Support Program, Ghana Rural Agent Support, and that's when he thought that maybe I was very, deeply rooted in the development of Ghana, and therefore he needed to give me an opportunity to express him on a bigger platform. I am saying that we are all in nation building together. There are no enemies, and there are no foes, and there are no beneficiaries. All of us will get to benefit in the final analysis. My appeal to the NDC is that they need to engage more, and they do not have to create a certain wall between the people and the people, between the masses and the people in authority.
That won't happen.
Because if you create this, this wall around your space, it will be difficult for people to share ideas with you.
And when,
you understand?
When you are giving them, when you are giving constructive
criticism, they should accept it. They don't know it all, and we are not enemies. I think that is what we need to appreciate.
Part of the found expression in our constitution, that's as you are saying, and I think that it is good. I mean,
you need to resend that document. My phone was stolen, so I don't even have it.
We can't build a nation based on only 50% or 60% of our academic potential.
Yes.
We need everybody's input. And I think that we should, this one is a personal plea with you, make an appointment and have a one-on-one with our Minister for Gender and Social Protection. You should try.
We'll see how that.
You should try.
All right. On that note, let me say a big thank you to Ebo Bachman, who is a leading member of the Movement for Change, in charge of discussing economic matters. Let me also.
Is the movement still alive?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We are alive and kicking.
But the NDC even needs the movement more than the movement.
I just asked
because otherwise the NDC will devour you. Let me say a big thank you to you, Dr. Valentin Mensah, for your time. on this show. He's a chartered accountant, a very knowledgeable man for that matter. And let me say a big thank you to Honorable Professor Titus Bayo, MP for Lambushe constituency. Thank you very much.
Great.
Your constituency did love you.
Thank you.
And you see, let not this be a 9-day wonder of singing the praises of members of parliament, because right now they are new and you like them. Let it continue. Yeah. I've always maintained that parliamentarians are in parliament to carve out policies, or rather to pass laws that will benefit the generality of the good people of Ghana. They are not there to build your roots. They are there to engender, some what's it called, interest, if you like, political interest on your behalf. So please give them breathing space. Don't be asking them for money for burials. Don't be asking them for money to go and marry your fourth and your fifth wife. Don't be marrying them for. Don't be bothering them for money to go and buy roofing sheets. Don't be bothering them. You see, when you do that, then you are asking them to go and steal. Do you understand? And I have had very unpleasant encounters with some members of parliament who are no longer in parliament. And they retorted to me their ordeal, what they went through. How people were even laughing at them that you are not smart. You are not smart. No, you are not smart, because they didn't steal money. You see, that is the disposition of many Ghanaians, and it's wrong. So please, let's support our members, particularly the intelligent ones. Till today, and I'll say it on air without let or hinder, I don't understand why ABF Husseini is not in parliament. I don't understand why Inus Husseini is no longer in parliament. I don't understand why Osei Mensa is not in parliament. I will not understand why. I agree that we must give the young people an opportunity to shine. But I also do agree that given where we are in terms of our democratic dispensation, that we allow people who understand the tenets of our democracy to contribute on the floor of parliament and to enrich our political discourse. That is the only way Ghana will develop. On that note, I thank the viewers for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa. My name will remain Kwame Usudan. So please tell the ministers we'll come to them, we'll share ideas, we'll say to them, Jojo, we are not enemies. We are all brothers and sisters.
They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you.
I'll see you.
They are waiting for you.
Yes.